What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James. Well, I guess I can go by either now because there's two. There's a Big Game James 36 and a Big Game James underscore 36. I haven't figured out which one that I want to use yet, but this is Big Games BS, part of Den Media Group, brought to you by thehumidor.com. Thehumidor.com is the go-to website for all things tobacco related. Cutters, torches, humidipacks, all kinds of stuff. You can get all of that from thehumidor.com. If you type in sports then at checkout, you get 20% off. Just good all around website. So good that we purchased our cigars here from inside the headquarters of the greatest cigar lounge on the planet, Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. This is where we purchase our cigars. So we want you to go purchase your cigars from there if you're not in the Jacksonville, the Northeast Florida area. We would love to have you come here, get a good scotch, get a good good stick, have some good times. Tonight we have Eric Carter Band that'll be coming on stage around 10 o'clock. Tomorrow we have Saxy Pierre, the saxophonist, and Sexy Pierre, the DJ. And I'm masculine enough to say my dog Pierre is is eclectic. I gotta figure out what the hell Pierre is. He can't just be normal black. He gotta be like Haitian or something, like or some Caribbean, because he be wearing them colors, man. You know, them Caribbean brothers be rocking them colors. But we also have on Sunday, my boy Cheese is doing a Sunday brunch. So, come out here. It's the best brunch you can get, man. It's gonna have all kinds of delectable things. He's gonna have his cheese grits. He's gonna have, like, we call them the Luke dancers because they're thick. He's gonna have all the kind of good stuff, man. So make sure you come to the Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. There is no other lounge in Jacksonville. It is the best lounge that you could possibly get. And that's where I host the show each and every day. It's kind of like Cheers with a mob twist. Everybody knows your name.
I drove by on Saturday, parking all up down the street.
Yeah, so what we're gonna have to start doing is I'm going to tell Scott that Big Game needs a parking spot in the back. Like, Cheese has his parking spot. Like, I need a cone that's there until I come and park. And then when I leave for the night, then whoever wants to have that park, because I'm not gonna be here all night. It's just, it's thick. It's one of those. All right. This is us talking. Full transparency. I don't come up here a lot because I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't mean trouble like, violence, because that won't happen to me here. I can promise you that. Like, there's a few places in this world where you could probably get me. Goodfellas and my tailgates is not optimal for anybody who that's not the place to try me. It's not going to end well for you. It's not going to be me either. You got to worry about somebody else will get you. But if you you got to know, part of being an adult is knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And I don't believe in having to always test. I can prove how strong I am. One of my guys, Jay Phelan, he's a great chef. He has been in AA for I think at least over a decade, and every now and then he'll make a post. And you know what Jay doesn't do? He doesn't put himself in situations where there's a lot of drinking going on. And he's been, and just like, wow, I do that. So it's not that I can avoid it. The world that I live in, you can't avoid beautiful people. But at the same time, I can avoid my exposure. It's kind of like when COVID happened. You couldn't avoid if you were going to get COVID or not. But what you could avoid was how much exposure you had to the disease. And I know whatever you believe or whatever you don't believe, I'm not here for that. But I'm just telling you, just like the flu or anything else, if you're around a bunch of coughing people, the odds are high that you might start coughing too. There is some beautiful people, male. If you're a man or a woman and you're looking for somebody, this is the place to go, unless you're ugly. And even if you're ugly, you still have a chance. I have seen some very ugly people come out winners here. But if you're mature, if you're looking for a cougar, the cougars are here. If you're looking for I'll say, I know that there's sugar daddies and Splenda poppies here. So like you can, some of them might not split the pop. You can't spend quite as much on you, but can buy you a drink or two here. You can get whatever you want here. It's a good vibe. It's also a great place to take a date. Like if you want to switch it up, it's not like other cigar lounges. Yes, you will still smell like smoke. I can't promise you that that won't happen, but you're not all on top of each other. So while it's packed, there's still a lot of room. This is a huge, huge venue. I love being a part of it. We're doing big things. We are legitimately the best cigar lounge in Jacksonville, not by our own saying. We were voted. We were the Boss Award winner of the best cigar lounge. So come check us out on the weekends. Housekeeping, how we start every show. Right now, we are at 1611, I believe, as far as subscribers, trying to get to 2,000. On God, like, good night. Just, guys, right now, go tell a friend to just go fucking subscribe to the Den Media Group. I don't need them to, well, it would be nice if they click the live every day or when we show it. It would be nice if they click on something every day. I might have requirements for members now, but like, God damn, just tell your friends to go click it. I'm going to give you a trade secret. For anybody, would call me right now. For people who don't know, when you, like, YouTube is a part of Google, right? So when you go to it, you have technically you have two profiles. So you have your email address and whatever you've named your YouTube channel or your YouTube self. That's 2 likes right there, man. Each person can give me 2 likes. How we get to the 2,000, I really don't care. But I would really like to give you guys $200. That's all I'm trying to do, man. Like, just tell a friend, like, yo. And then once we get to 200, be like, hey, man, can't none of us get $300 until we get to 3,000 followers. And I'm going to do the same thing when I get my personal one up at Big Game James. So right now, get out of your cubicle. Go tell your coworker to go fucking like the page. It's real simple. Now, I would like to implore you, become a subscriber first. See what we have going on. See if you like the content. And then after that, I would love for you to become a member. We have a $3.99 level. I believe that's a Den Insider. Or that's a Den Mate. I don't know how. We have Den Mate, Den Insider, 3-6 Mafia, all in. And this is where I want to get to. I didn't know if it was what happened. I already knew he was white by just seeing the name. But Connor, you my guy. Is there any black Connors? It's got to be a black one, right? Well, damn it. Going, Eric, you got jits. I have 3 E's that I know that were from Jacksonville. All kind of different colors. It's wild. If you like put them together, like, and you arrange them properly, they'll look like a Neapolitan ice cream thing almost. You got red Erica, you got brown Erica, then you got dark. Because I don't really like I don't like Facebook right now. So I'm sorry, Mark, but like, you're not helping me out. I can't. God, this is a damn shame. I gotta get glasses. If you know anybody who's looking for, I need glasses. I'm tired of not being able to see. Literally a 55-inch screen TV right in front of me, and I see sporadics. I see the words. I just don't see.
They told us it froze. Our stream froze, but we're back now.
Okay, man, we gotta get the Wi-Fi right.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, but anyways, like the page, subscribe to the page, do all that jazz right there. Connor did it. Connor, let me find Connor's name. because Connor deserves a shout out. Connor went to the highest level you could get. I hope Connor realizes that this is a monthly subscription. I mean, but I'm cool with it. You know, blessings. You know, I feel like we got 8 members now. So we had 6. We have 8 members now. I almost feel like Joel Osteen with his church. But I don't think I have that much money. But shout out to my guy Connor. I was trying to find you real quick. Oh, we DM'd each other. Please go follow at Teal Black as a Sports Den hat already. I'm gonna set up some Sports Den gear, some MFTK gear. He's an FSU fan as well. That's what you get at that level. You get some gear as well as you get an opportunity to be able to come to all the different events because you've already paid for it. So shout out to Connor. All right, that's the housekeeping. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah, man, listen. Yeah, I need members so I can get some glasses, man. I'm sorry, guys. That's how this shit works, man. I need to, if you don't want to pay, make somebody else pay, but we either need the subscribers up or everybody got to become a member because I need some glasses. Or get me an eyeglass company to be able to be a member. Yeah. So on Wednesday, our show was a little early. And Denny is training this young man, Anthony Richardson, who, by the way, I think I deserve a cut because he would have never met. Ironically, a Gator would have never met a Gator if it wasn't for a Seminole. So it was I am the one who connected Denny Thompson and Anthony Richardson up. And at the time, Denny was training 3 kids who were at the Elite 11. He had Jeff Sims. All right, let's back up now. Or is it just the phone that's freezing?
Not both. It's the Wi-Fi.
It's the Wi-Fi. All right, let's just do the. Here, I'll put my hotspot on. Or you should be able to get it without having But anyways, Denny's been training Anthony Richardson. Damn, that thing went quick. Denny's been training, like that's what I was saying. Denny's been training Anthony Richardson for quite some time. Had a couple guys. Juice now. All right. Anyways, long story short, Denny needed somebody for private workout. Anthony Richardson has some guys come in to train with him. I don't know what all I can divulge because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I do know Denny called me and said I need some wide receivers to catch for Ant and the crew. So now we go get Ant and the crew. They go out, they do some different things, and the talks are being, will Anthony Richardson be the first overall quarterback drafted? Now, one thing that I've realized is this, and I've realized this in working with Denny all these years, I don't know shit about quarterbacks, man. And neither do you guys. And if you're trying to get into the head of an NFL GM, I know NFL GMs very, very well. And I'm going to ask the guy because I want to continue to, and I'm going to meet with them when I go up to Indianapolis on Wednesday. And I'm probably going to have an interview with Anthony as well as a lot of other guys. But you got to, like, what we're seeing, it's not that we're not seeing what we're seeing. You saw a 6-6 quarterback. They're seeing something completely different. And the NFL is a copycat league. What they're seeing is black Josh, Josh Allen. They're seeing black Josh Allen. And if you've listened to our show, nobody was more critical on Josh Allen than me. He was abysmal at Wyoming. He was ass. He was trash. There was nothing good about his stats at Wyoming. But I think that's where he went. It was Idaho. One of them weird ass schools. Let's go, Josh. I just want to, put it in perspective. Josh Allen college stats, because y'all might not believe me. I actually think that Anthony Richardson's stats probably are way better than his. Here we go. You're looking for 6. All right, so 2017 was the year that Josh Allen declared early. Josh Allen, actually, don't forget all that. Let's go. Josh Allen has a career throwing completion percentage of 56.2. Average completions of 7.8 yards an attempt. He was 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. His senior year. I don't know if you guys recognize that or not, but that's not really good. Those are not first round quarterback numbers. His senior year, he threw for 1,800 yards. And you know what he's considered right now? One of the top fucking quarterbacks in the NFL. Everybody told us that Jalen Hurts could not throw the football very well. Jalen Hurts got to the NFL, and you know what he started doing? Throwing the football very well. There are numerous quarterbacks that everybody said just wasn't going to be able to get it done. And you know what they've been doing? They've been getting it done. And here's the mindset and the thought process and the ideology, I hope I'm using the right big words, of the NFL coaches. I'm going to backtrack it. The college coaches. I'm going to backtrack it. The high school coaches, right? Every level up believes that the next level doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to reiterate it, excuse me. Every level up doesn't believe. So the Pop Warner coaches, the high school coaches, don't believe that the Pop Warner coaches know what they're doing. The college coaches don't believe that the high school coaches know what they're doing. The NFL coaches don't believe that some of the college coaches know what they're doing. So what they're doing is they're looking at attributes and do they feel they can coach this kid through those attributes? And I learned this the first time with Jeff Sims, who didn't have the greatest stats coming out of Sandalwood High School, had a losing record as a coach, but was a 4-star quarterback and everybody in Florida State, where he originally committed to decommit to go to Georgia Tech. Now he's at Nebraska. But then he was like, when they go and they can still hear you. Oh, okay. And that's just the reality of the situation. So when I learned that, and then Denny's been telling me Anthony's could be the first quarterback taken since spring of last year. And you know what I've been telling Denny? Denny, you are crazy. You've been drinking. Dude, stop this shit. You're going to sound insane. This man went on the media circuit. He did all of these different things. And by golly, is he like, if you believe in the book of Noah was telling people for like decades, it's going to rain, it's going to rain, it's going to rain. And everybody said, dog, you crazy. It hasn't rained in decades. It ain't even going to rain. That's what Denny's been like with the Anthony Richardson train. And And one of the things that I don't do is I don't close my mind off. And I'm not an expert in that field, so I don't know. I just know what I do is I call my friends who are experts in that field. And then I look at what I see outside of the stats, because I get a chance to live an incredible life where I get a chance to see things that everybody else doesn't see. And when I walked on that field, I didn't go Tuesday because I was traveling back. I went Wednesday. When I walked on that field to go watch Anthony Richardson work out, one, I saw a completely different person. Two, I saw what the people who were there to watch Anthony were looking like. And then I said to myself, us on Twitter, it means absolutely nothing. All that matters is what those people who are salivating like little boys when they see their first pair of titties.
According to Base Insider, the odds of the first overall pick, sitting here, Anthony Richardson at plus what, 12,000. Sorry.
So if I bet $1, I get 12,000, or how does that work?
100 and you get 12,000.
Oh, I'm laying that. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that right there.
Bryce Young is at the top at minus 105, so he's very much expected to be the overall pick. Anthony Richardson is 1, 2, 3. Tell me if any of these names sound wrong to be above him. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Will Levis.
Levis, yeah, he's a Kentucky quarterback.
Miles Murphy, Bryce Breesy, Paris Johnson, and Peter Skronsky.
No, only two people that really should be ahead of him, if you're looking at what they did in college, would be Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud being the Ohio State quarterback that put up numbers, did a lot of good things. Bryce Young being the Alabama quarterback. The problem with Bryce Young is he's 185 pounds. And right now what we're looking at is we already see an Alabama quarterback who was petite, not doing the best health-wise down in Miami, and Tua Tagovailoa. Then you also see C.J. Stroud. Not saying that I think this is a dumb thing when people use these comparisons, but I also don't think it's smart to draft the first overall pick, a 6'6" quarterback, but I see everybody salivating over him. C.J. Stroud is an Ohio State quarterback. What we have noticed in recent history with Ohio State quarterbacks is it ain't really gone the best. So I'm not saying that was what's going to happen with C.J. Stroud. Everybody's different individually, but at the same time, it's also about team fits. So that's the other thing that people need to realize. The Bears hold the #1 overall pick, right? Obviously, the Chicago Bears aren't drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick. They're trying to trade back, and the teams that are looking to let's look at the draft order, that are looking to draft a quarterback. Obviously, the Houston Texans. Arizona doesn't need one. Indianapolis is at 4. Denver's at 5, but they've got Sierra's husband. The Rams are at 6, but they've got what they need. Las Vegas is at 7. Atlanta's at 8. Carolina's at 9. The two teams that are more apt to be trying to compete to get that first overall pick would be the Texans or the Colts. The Colts probably would be willing to give up more to the Chicago Bears for that first overall pick, because if Houston doesn't need this fallout, if Chicago keeps it, all they're going to do is draft the first quarterback, because unless Chicago did some real shrewd shit, like just go draft the quarterback and then just hold them hostage and then just say, who wants to trade me for this guy? Which would be dumb. They got better things to do than play games. But Indianapolis could very well trade to get into that first pick. Who is Indianapolis' new coach? Came from the Philadelphia Eagles. Who does he have as an OC the last few years? He had Jalen Hurts. He has experience with quarterbacks that are like this, that have a skill set that people want. That people want. I'm not saying that it's right. And I think too many people these days want to argue right and wrong. And it's not about arguing right and wrong. It's about arguing the situations. and what fits and how it could potentially be that. Other notable spots, Carolina is a place that he may land. New Orleans is somewhere that people are thinking about. They'll have a veteran, but they're still looking for a quarterback situation. You know, all I'm saying is I was with a lot of you guys until I just saw it. And it wasn't even necessarily what I saw in the workout, because he does look different. It's what I saw. All right, perfect example. I think James Brown looks like a California raisin. Or excuse me, he's dead, but he looked like a California raisin. He actually, and if you're an 80s baby, you realize that he actually was a California raisin. I thought it was one of the best commercial marketing things of all time. It fit. But you also want to know what James Brown was? A sex symbol. I think Prince is the fruitiest of all the pebbles. But you know what Prince was? A sex symbol. My opinion didn't matter because the opposite sex loved them. They was getting vagina left and right. And you know what that means with us? You might not like them, but they do. I seen it. And I can't tell you what teams I seen, but just know I seen it. And we'll see more. He'll be in the podium. He'll be one of the top podiums. He's one of the most interesting guys in this draft. It's very intriguing. And what's more intriguing is that he came from the University of Florida. How ironic would it be that you came from the University of Florida and potentially the number 1 overall pick, and you went 6 and 7? I wonder, one of my favorite, I like not tostones. I like tostones too. I like tostones, maduros. What's the little Spanish empanadas? I like empanadas. Every race or culture has their version of empanadas. Jamaican patties, same thing. Promise you. It's just beef, minced beef, and something. They can put other stuff. They can do chicken. They can do all kinds of different things. Empanadas can be a beef, chicken. They've got guava. They got all kinds of different types of empanadas that are delicious. I think white culture, they call them turnovers. Okay, you have apple turnover, a cherry turnover. You can do other stuff with them. I've never had a gator turnover. Ooh. But Gators right now are experiencing and getting a taste of their own medicine for how much they troll the University of Miami in the turnover in their staff. And as I thought it was 2 weeks was a long time, I mean, too short of a time. I got to say 8 to 9 days. Excuse me, it's too short of a time. And the Gators just lost their wide receiver coach, Kerry Colbert. He was a former NFL wide receiver who played for Denver in 2008. Kerry was there when I played around the time I played in college. He played at USC before, worked at USC. He is going to be the wide receivers coach for the Denver Broncos. So there's a theme coming here. So your wide receiver coach is good enough to go to the NFL. Okay. Your co-DC and safeties coach, Patrick Toney, just left. You know where he went? To the NFL. Arizona Cardinals. Your tight ends coach, which you didn't really do very well at tight end. You know where he went? To the NFL. Arguably the best coach on your staff, your cornerbacks coach, is interviewing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's also interviewed with another team, just decided not to leave. You have 5 to 6 potential coaching vacancies, and they all went to the NFL, all but one. So Florida fans are spending this and saying, like, nobody else nobody wants anybody from your sorry staff. They want our guys. That's how good we are.
Spin cycle thing.
But what I want to suggest is, because there's more. Florida has 9 players that are going to the NFL Combine next week. So that means they have 9 guys. So there's only 22 starters.
Almost half.
Almost half of your team is NFL quality. A couple of your guys left to go to true Power 5 juggernauts that are going to probably start at other Power 5 schools. Put my boy Black here. T Black, I knew your brother Quentin. I didn't realize I never did put two and two together. His brother went to Florida. I know him from Florida State. So guys, I'm off mute. I say Billy got me. For those who don't know, Billy affected my Wi-Fi. You got nine guys going to the NFL draft. I mean combine. You got one of them potentially the number 1 overall pick. You have 5 coaches that are definitely on NFL rosters, and you are a 6 and 7 ball club. What that tells me is that you are the biggest you're the biggest collective wasters of talent in probably Power 5 history. You know how many people that Florida State has going to the NFL combine? The same amount as FAMU. 1. Jamie Robinson, FAMU, shout out to Isaiah Land for going to the combine. Actually, FAMU may have more. FAMU may have 2 guys. But yeah, so that's basically it with that. Shout out to Florida. Right now, On3 released a couple days ago notable opening lines based on FanDuel. They've got Colorado, a 17.5 point underdog to TCU. LSU, a 1 point underdog to Florida State. Texas, an 8 point underdog to Alabama. Florida, a 7 point underdog to Tennessee. Notre Dame, an 8.5 point underdog to Notre Dame. Texas, Oklahoma, a 4 point underdog to Texas. Tennessee, a 7.5 point underdog to Georgia. And Ohio State, a 2 point dog to Michigan. That's a hell of a game for Deion out the gate. Playing against a team that made it to the college football championship. Embarrassed, but made it to the college football championship. I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm taking that bet, Florida State. That's basically head up. Florida State, LSU. I'm taking that. And my gambling friends, I got to figure out, isn't there something that you can do to where you can mess with the line? Like, can I add more points that we're favored for and make more money? Because I believe we're a full touchdown better than LSU. We should have been that last year had we not fumbled the goddamn ball. I think Mike Norvell, as we call him lovingly here, Miguel Blanco, after that Clemson loss, he just said, fuck it, I'm going to open this bitch up and spread that bitch out. And I also think that Coach Fuller's got the defense going a lot different. I think Florida State is going to be It's going to be it. We're going to skip the next one. We're going to go one more thing dealing with college before we go fully into the NFL and pro sports in general. Every time this year, Skip handling like a boss of character issues. Every year we go through this dumb shit with insiders, and Tom McShay is good at his job. But it's always anonymous GM, anonymous scout, anonymous this, or there's something that's put out to question something, and I don't like it. Right now, there's a kid that's close to Jacksonville, that Jacksonville area, that's going through some shit with some things that aren't very true, and affected his character issues, and he's been a solid kid his entire time in college. But Tom McShay put out a couple months ago. Tom McShay claimed, and if you're looking at, I'm looking at NFL Rookie Watch, ESPN's Tom McShay claimed Jalen Carter had character issues that could affect his draft stock. Now, Jalen Carter has been the best player on Georgia's defense for the last 2 seasons. Yesterday, it was revealed that this past season, Carter paid for his teammate, Weston Wallace, meals with his own scholarship money. Weston Wallace is a walk-on, so he doesn't eat for free like the rest of the team. Carter heard about this and didn't want to let that happen, so he contributed his own funds to feed his guy. Now, there's a rule like you can't feed walk-ons or something like that. I think it's a stupid rule. If I tell you how much food we waste at the training tables, they should be able to feed everybody. They can feed everybody. But it's called, in the NIL world, it shouldn't be an impermissible benefit because somebody should just pay for that. All you gotta do is put the kids on a meal plan. All these things like this, like the Gator Collective, Georgia Collective, Battles In, y'all should do this. Free game by big game right here. Go ahead and write a check to make sure that all 120 players can at least get some chow, right? So multiple things could be true, right? Nino Brown threw out turkeys in the hood, but he also sold drugs in the infamous movie that I love, New Jack City. But typically, most 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds aren't this unselfish. Everybody didn't pitch in. He decided to pitch in to take care of his guy. I don't know what their relationship was. I don't know if they went to school together. I don't know what formed this foundation. But this should have been known early, and this should have been reported. Outside of the character issues, let me tell you about character issues and how the NFL works. So I was before I found sports, I was a little rambunctious. I like to fight. Got accumulation. I may or may not have been asked to not come back to my middle school. And I had to go to another middle school, which actually I like that second middle school. It's probably saved my life. Do you realize when I did my interviews, these motherfuckers went back to when I was 11 years old at Fairview Middle School? It asked if I had character issues when I was 21 years old because of something I did 10 years ago when I was going through all kind of hormonal changes. Do you realize, they're thorough? Now, I will say this. If it's out there for the NFL to know, no. They know everything. They knew a lot about me. Knew about my god brothers. Knew about the neighborhood I grew up in. I think, if I remember correctly, somebody asked me, what does RBG stand for? And I'm like, man, come on, dog. I've been on 2 fucking mission trips. Get out of here, man. With that, everybody else is going to Cancun and seeing bitches shake their ass for spring break, and I'm out here feeding homeless African kids. And you want to talk about character? They're looking for one thing to be able to make it seem like you're a bad person. And shame on Tom McShay for even mentioning that. Because here's the reality. It's 2 things, and this is from a GM. It's only 2 things you really just can't do Everything else they can kind of forgive. And be honest with you, if you're good enough, they'll turn the cheek on it too until you get arrested. Don't beat your old lady and don't be a pedophile. That's it. Chico was all of the things that you're not supposed to be. A gay murderer. And he still got in there. Like, just like I tell people all the time, they said the dude, what was his name? Michael Sam. Oh, they're discriminating against him because he's a fairy. Nope, no, they're not. They are not discriminating against him because he's a fairy. They're discriminating against him because he's not any good. Is plenty of gay football players in the National Football League. And I may or may not have, there's some teammates that I've had that may or may not have been considered that. But you know what? The motherfuckers could ball. And nobody said anything. Nobody cares who you're splitting into or who's splitting you into. All they care about is can you get to the quarterback or not. Oh, we have 40? 41. 41, all right. I love going back and talking about things on previous shows. And on Wednesday's show, I basically called Shady McCoy the bitch. Shady McCoy a bitch. And, you know, he was being, I'm not saying he's a bitch in general, like in an everyday life. I don't know him. But as far as what he did he set against Eric Bieniemy, I think he was. One of the things that I tell guys all the time is be careful of bridges that you may have to cross back over or people that you may have to see again if you're not ready to square up. I remember the Willie Taggart era at Florida State. A lot of kids got into like what the fans got. Yeah, that motherfucker sucked. He this, he that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, man, chill out. When you go to the NFL, and what's ironic is, you know what happened to Willie Taggart? Willie Taggart is now the running backs coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So all of you guys who talk all that shit about Willie Taggart that's trying to get to the NFL, hello. That's what you don't want to happen. You never know. I'm telling you guys, if you would have told me in 2002, this little short white boy with a weird haircut would be the most dominant coach in the NCAA right now, I would have said you smoking mad reefer. That guy's name is Kirby Smart. Matter of fact, the director of recruiting at Florida State right now was my equipment manager at Florida State. He washed my jock straps. Now that man's in a position to possibly recruit my son. Imagine if I was a dick to them. You never know when it's going to come back to you. That's why until you don't need somebody, you shut the fuck up. That they wanted, and I was on mute. Oh fuck! If you'd have told me again, all right. If you'd have told me Chucky Screw Up would be who he is right now, if you would have told me Kirby Smart would be who he is right now. In 2002, I would have said you're fucking crazy.
Chris Walker said, "Come again, say what?" Thanks, Chris Walker, for subscribing. If we didn't acknowledge you before, I can't tell. I can tell by the green name.
Yeah, I think Chris is a subscriber. We got 8. Is Wi-Fi. The point is you got to be careful who you're mean to and who you're nice to. So like that's the most important things in all of this. And oh, I said all of that because Shady's a bitch. And Eric Bieniemy handled this in the most classy manner in which you can possibly handle something. Because we all knew that the question was going to be asked. It's like a boss. And probably the first one with RG3. But Eric Bieniemy was asked directly about, and the crazy thing about Shady's comments is it wasn't on his own podcast. Like I would kind of be like, all right, that's on your own podcast. That's your own thoughts. But you were on the NFL, you were an analyst, the expert, and you like volunteered this information. You got it. It should be boss right above character issues. Like there's 2 of them. Yeah. They I forgot. I don't know who directly asked Eric Bieniemy about what was said, but maybe we need to stop playing with fire with all this data. But basically, actually, no, bumping. This is what we're gonna do. We already houseware rigging it, but here's what Eric Bieniemy said. Oh, you got it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got it, I don't have to do that.
You want to hear it?
Yeah. And then the next one we're gonna play right after that.
LaShawn McCoy is a future Hall of Fame runner. Okay, everybody's entitled to their own position, to their own.
Oh, there it is. You're good. You just play it. I'm good.
LaShawn McCoy is a future Hall of Fame runner. Okay, everybody's entitled to their own position, to their own comments and how they feel. When it's all said and done with,
he wanted to swing on that motherfucker.
I think that's all I have to say because he's entitled to his own opinion. That's life. Okay, you got good, you have bad. It does not impact me in any way. Because one thing that you learn when you're in this position, you have to learn to eliminate distractions. All right. My job is to focus on it.
All right, that's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough. Like, I mean, to tell you, he's like, because he handled it like an old. Motherfucker right here. But Shady said that he cursed at people, and even the good people. And I said that this was coaching. But if you go and check out the next video under that, like future Hall of Famer, that was very nice. He has the stats though. He does have the stats, but like I don't like if he at a certain point, guys, the Hall of Fame has to mean something. We got to stop just putting motherfuckers in there because they reach milestones, or it's gonna become the Basketball Hall of Fame. But this guy actually is a fucking Hall of Famer, zonked out of his mind for what he talked about with Devin with the Hamlin kid. But this is Eric Bieniemy coaching an actual Hall of Famer, and if this is how he.
We got to go back to day one teaching. We talk about football. We're talking about
inside zone footwork, reads, you know, our alignments, our assignments. We teaching everything from day one as if he's never heard it again. On top of that, fellas, we will have a 3rd and 7 to 10 period. Okay? But still, we got to expect what? Blitz. If they don't blitz, now we get out. Okay? I've always been taught professionals are the ones who go out and do the little things and do them great on the days that they don't feel like doing it.
No detail escapes the enemy's eye, and he's never shy about demanding the best to work tirelessly at becoming even better.
Yesterday, we ran a man route in the zone route versus man. Today,
I ran man route zone. I thought we went to the last play. That's what I was thinking. Why?
That play.
I thought we went back to the last play.
Nah, bro, we ain't go back to the last
Okay,
play.
what I thought? What I thought?
Well, they said in the huddle, did they?
What I thought?
Since we've been together, it's like a marriage. The bottom line, we got to make it work.
I'm just telling you what was going through my mind, because the last play was clearly a bust.
What do you call in the huddle?
I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking, okay?
What do you call in the huddle? What do you call in the huddle? That's all I ask. What did he call in the huddle?
All right, whatever.
What did he call in the huddle?
All right, I'm telling you.
What did he call it?
All right.
What did he call?
If you don't understand
cussed me
football,
out. I swear. I had
the
to
reason
say,
why he got push balls,
and-
the reason why he has to ride him is because you can't. It's 11 players on the field. You can't have one player. I think Shady was just being a bitch in that whole matter. That was me. But yeah, so I like going back to stuff, and then we'll end it with this. And this will be my Hate O'Clock, brought to you by Green Acres Sporting Goods. Green Acres Sporting Goods is where you can go get a Uzi, but it ain't little and it ain't vertical. That bitch is horizontal. Let you horizontal. I just posted that picture. That bitch was. But if you go to sometimes it's not hate, it's knowing the game. And Green Acres off of Normandy Boulevard, 20,000 square feet of just heaven. Like you could go get your guns, fishing equipment, boating equipment, safes, crossbows, which I think everybody should have. All kinds of good stuff. Yeah, how did it go to that? Sierra has become more famous for her breakup lately with Future than her music, which was actually pretty incredible. Like I like 1-2 Step in those things. Like it was pretty good songs. But Sierra made every hood chick that dated drug dealers and got pregnant. She's become their like their thing I want and need in him. I pray he loves me the way that you love me. Your love is unconditional. You are the way, the truth, and the life. And in you, there's hope. Lord, you say, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy. I believe that this pure love, this is what I want. Lord, thank you for reminding me who I am. I am a queen. I deserve to be treated like one. I am a warrior. I will get up. I am a child of God. I am everything you say I am. I am an overcomer. I am. Oh, well, yeah, I shouldn't have said all shit after Jesus' name, but it happens. But and all that stuff's good. Be what it is that you want. And I think everybody, because I read that because the next meme, and you don't have to pull this one up, Miles, is everybody talked starting in 2015 talked about, they posted a picture of Sierra and Future going to a music house to the White House. And a lot has been said that, you know, and then they'll take this same picture is when you get the right man, he will elevate you, right? They always make it seem like Russell is the one who's, you know, elevated her and made her become the woman that she is, right? Well, we've been telling y'all that Russell's been lame for quite some time and that this is not Russell. And women have argued us to death. They have told us that, oh, we just that you say about Russell Wilson, you must hate Russell Wilson and you must love Future. Well, recently, people have been telling you that Russell has changed. Marshawn Lynch, who hates nobody, has literally said Russell's a piece of shit. And this last thing that just came out kind of solidifies it. And I don't, in the same manner that women make these memes, that Sierra is influencing and bringing down. We're seeing Sierra's nature come through Russell. In a bombshell, Russell Wilson asked Seahawks ownership to fire coach Pete Carroll, who everyone loves, and general manager John Snyder last year. The team instead traded his ass to the Denver Broncos. You got teammates saying that you have people in the locker room literally saying he is a cancer. And people are still out here trying to defend and trying to make it seem like a future if you say any of these things. If anything directed toward Russ has to mean that you hate Sierra and you hate black women. That's really what it comes down to. It's always just say you hate black women. And in this, they say a good man, the downfall to every good man is what? You know, you ever heard the saying, Miles? Downfall to every man. And she's not just coming after Russ and his good character that was here. Because I think the real reason that let's be honest with you guys, this is us talking. The real reason black women love Russell is because normally y'all say all black athletes date white women or marry white women. And Russell did the exact opposite of what most black athletes did. He was with a white woman, divorced her ass, and got with a black chick. Sierra was praying for somebody else's husband. John ever want to look at those things, but whatever, you know, it happens. He is Carlton Banks. He's not the guy that women go for unless they have something. And that's what we are all saying. And you know we right. There are girls on Twitter right now with 5 kids talking about, God, why can't you give me a good man? I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like he gave you 5 tries. Maybe it's you. The comment, I always tell people, when they be like, James, your ex said that, she's probably right. I'm the common denominator in that. At a certain point, you got to fix you. But what and she would not have done this. The Seahawks received a good tight end in Noah Fant, a good defensive end in Shelby Harris. They got the 1st, 2nd, and 5th round picks in last year's draft. They had I'm not saying it's all her fault, but what I'm saying is, man, Russell wasn't acting like this. You acting, what was how I say? I ain't never ever seen you act this way. You acting real unusual. Now Russell comes out and damage control, and he was a father figure to me. Oh, I always throw that shit out. And John believed in me and drafted me as well. I never wanted them fired. All any of us wanted, this is how you know it's some truth in it. All any of us wanted was to win. I always have respect for them and love for Seattle. Russ, and I know how people, I know the people who are going to Future makes. But you want to know one thing about Future? That motherfucker is happy. Have you ever seen, has anybody seen an interview where Future's mad? But I will say is Russell was not like this before he got the bad bitch. Which leads me to believe too. Wanting to be these goons so bad. I thought the goal was to become a millionaire and get up out the hood and leave your hoodish ways away. Jeezy still raps about it, but Jeezy's not like flaunting that I'm a goon, I gotta go to prison, I'll kill you, do all this other stuff. T.I. and Boosie are engaged in one of the most idiotic arguments of all time. I blame Charleston White slightly for this.
He slid out too. Nobody's mentioning his name.
Well, nah, he got fucking punked by Jay Prince. He found out that Jay Prince really runs Houston. I'll tell you this, as you didn't know. Other people might not know. Charleston White is the snitch that became famous, but he's an antagonist. So all he goes around and says he's going to do this, he's going to do that, and he talks about his guns. So he had a show in Houston, and the Houston Police Department said, "Man, we're not coming to protect you. You keep antagonizing Jay Prince, so you're inviting violence. We're not going to put our cops in harm's way." So he went on and he actually basically just made Jay Prince, the legend of Jay Prince, bigger. That Jay Prince basically, they call it a no-fly zone. Jay Prince, no-fly zone, Charleston White in the city of Houston. I think it's one of the dumbest things in the world that we have to check in. That only black people do this shit. That you have to check in, but hey, at the end of the day, if it's going to save my life, I ain't opposed to just saying, "Hey, what's up, brother?" Like, check in don't mean money. A lot of it just means you got to kiss the ring, I guess. But T.I. went and talked about how he snitched on his dead cousin or brother, somebody, for a crime. He was dead. Boosie says, "I can't do an album with you anymore because you're a snitch." Snitching is snitching, whether it's the living or the dead. Personally, I don't think it's snitching if you're putting the case on somebody who's no longer going to be here. We see people who take charges. Like on one of the most famous scenes in The Wire was when old boy was taking credit for all the murder because he already knew he got life. He couldn't get any more time, so he took credit for all the murders of all of his other friends, so that they couldn't do that. So if a person's dead, obviously they can't get any more time, right? So why not blame them? It ain't like they're gonna dig them up and put them in the grave. But hey, I'm not a street dude, so I don't know the rules. But one thing I won't be doing is going on the internet and showing my paperwork, challenging everybody to show them how much of a real NIGGA I am. Y'all, you are a multimillionaire and almost 50 years old, bro. It's time to hang it up to y'all. Then again, you're over 40 and you just now decided you wanted to get dreads and have hair. So you're going through some, and you're married to Tiny, one of the ugliest R&B singers of all time. You're going through some things that I don't know how to help you get through. So I pray that I'm not like this. Two things I pray that I've never been a hater. Matter of fact, Sierra has her prayer. I have my prayer. God, if I go to bed hating another man, please don't allow me to wake up. That is my prayer every night when I close my eyes. And now, God, if I ever go to bed and I wake up every day and I feel like I have to prove to the world how much of a street dude that I am, man, I am literally a loser. Like, there are men who literally have gone their whole lives trying not to be like this. And you guys are pledging grad chapter gangbanging. That is the opposite of a good hustle. So on that note, appreciate a lot of you guys bearing with me through the Wi-Fi issues. We'll get that shit straightened out. Please go subscribe to the channel. If you want to help the Wi-Fi issues, consider becoming a member. Lowest $3.99, high as $99.99. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank y'all for chopping it up with me. Once we get to 2,000 though, I'm giving away $200. Just remember that. Appreciate you guys chopping up with me. We'll see you guys next week.